Hey everybody, Robert with RC Archery, and you're watching Tuesday's Tip of the Week number 108. In today's video, we're going to talk about the dreaded low hold or the bobbing low and coming back to the middle aim on target. There is a few things that can cause this. Most of them are based around our bow shoulder, but there also could be some issues with leaking pressures and peep height and some other things as well. So let's get right into it. All right, the first thing that I see really common is what we're doing with draw length and how that works with our bow shoulder. If we are too short on the draw length, that shoulder has to come up and then be driven back towards our neck. And when we do that, it's actually hinging everything on the shoulder joint and it pushes the hand down. You can actually see here, if I bring this shoulder in and I'm pulling it up next to my neck, that my hand is wanting to go down as well. So when we're aiming, if we're getting to full draw and then we're, getting the bow drawn back, getting into anchor, and then we have to bring that shoulder into anchor, at that point, we are already pushing the bow down, forcing it down below the target. And that's actually going to cause us to have either a bobbing up and down and forcing down, coming back up to the middle because we're trying to lift it back up, or we're just going to start hanging low and having our float want to settle below the middle of the target. And this is really common with people, even when they don't have target panics. You don't always have target panic when you lock in low like that. A lot of the times it can just be a form issue. The other thing that I see is actually the inverse of this and the opposite, just meaning our draw length is too long. And you can see that when the draw length is too long, it creates a disconnection in the shoulder joint. So you can actually see a little bit of a U shape in between my shoulder and my neck and all of that area. And that's because the joint itself is pressed too far out. When we do this, we lose support in that shoulder and we lose the ability to transfer the bow's weight into our core. And we essentially have to hold everything up with our arm and our neck at that point. So the bow is going to feel really heavy. You're going to see some big swoopy aiming movements, but you're also going to see a lot of the times that the aim wants to drop low and you may be bobbing up and down most likely. You may force yourself and it may lock in low just because you can't physically hold it up anymore towards the end of maybe your shooting round, or, if you've been shooting for a while, something like that. But you will most likely see a lot of up and down bobbing on target and some issues that you have just because that draw length is too long. Now, there is some draw length test that I run everybody through when I'm working with them on coaching. A lot of what I do is based off of natural points of aim, and that starts with the way that we set up our stance, how open that makes our hips, and that drives the shoulders more open, creates a natural angle that our shoulder is going to be at to create our body's draw length. Some tests that you can do really quickly at home is just based off of filming yourself, taking a picture of yourself and how your bow is fitting you based on your form that you're at right now. Keep in mind, we want to be in a natural T position. So if you were to just stand there and raise your arms up at your side, we want this to all be the same when we have the bow in our hands. So if you do this and raise the bow up from your side, draw it back, be conscious to not adjust to the bow. We don't want to start leaning our head and our neck into the string or leaning it back away from it or doing something with our bow shoulder where we're pulling it in or pushing it out. We would like to be in a consistent and natural body position where we're supported in our best fitment with the bow as well. So we want to make sure that, if you have a variance there or something is wrong, you start making those adjustments to your draw length. And that'll help you a lot whenever you're having to worry about, is this correct or is this not, as far as getting a baseline set up to then start fine tuning for you. Now, if you'd like to see more information outside of what we have on our normal channel, there's the members portion of YouTube here on my channel. We have extra content on there. I go a little bit more in depth on a lot of these videos that we have week to week. And then I also break down, archers' forms and pro archers and their shot execution, things like that. Hopefully, like you've seen in this video here. If not, this was a members video that I filmed. It was the first one that we filmed, breaking down shot execution style and everything with a couple different archers there. If you haven't watched it, check that one out after this video here. And if you'd like some coaching, then that is an option for you as well. My email is down in the description of this video. Reach out to me. I have a lot of different packages if you just want to work on one specific area, Or if you need some guidance, let me know and I can kind of steer you in the right direction based off of what you're telling me that you may need. All right, and the last thing that we're going to talk about is over aiming, getting weak and timid on the shot. I see a lot of this happening with people. You start aiming at the target, you see a lot of extra movement. Maybe the shoulder wasn't correctly in place this shot, or maybe you just don't have everything quite dialed in the right way, and you see movement. So you want to shrink that down, and you start trying to tense the body up, over aim, and over exaggerate what we're doing. And when you do that, a lot of the times this shoulder is going to come out of joint. It's going to start coming up and back because it's collapsing. Most likely your shot timing is getting really long unless you've developed some other issues and it's happening too quickly. And then the other thing that will happen is you'll actually start backing off on our pulling pressure. Instead of being strong against the back wall or pulling through a shot, if you're shooting that way or whatever you're doing, you'll actually start seeing that rear elbow will start adjusting and moving inside, I call it, of the bow. So it's moving from left to the right if you're a right-handed archer. And that's because that when we're here at full draw and we're over aiming, we're focusing too much down range on our target. We actually forget all we're doing about pulling here and we start relaxing and losing tension. The byproduct of that is when we start losing our tension that we're pulling back on the bow with, then that bow is naturally going to want to start sinking and settling down. You may see a low hold completely below the target. You may see it go down and then you may start lifting it back up and that causes that bobbing. Or you may be starting and stopping on the shot, meaning that you pull into the back wall, you're doing good, you start seeing movement, you back off, you lose that pressure and it sinks down. You start pulling again, it brings it back up and it creates a vicious cycle. So that is something to look at as well. If you're having that problem, then either you need to start committing to the shot and getting through it, possibly by getting on target and getting yourself with the tension built up in your body that's necessary to slow your float down before you get your thumb to a trigger, your finger to a trigger, or get through the click and start working on your execution. Or you may have form imbalance, something going on with the bow. D-loop height could be wrong, balancing of the bars, draw length, loop length. I mean, obviously there's a lot there, but there could be some other issues going on. But make sure that you're trying to isolate what that may be and focus on the problem versus over aiming and starting and stopping on our shot. Let's make it easier for us and not harder. Thank you everybody for watching today. If you want to be a member of this channel, there's a join button below that if you click that, it will bring the options up for what we have on this channel for the different packages. You'll get extra content. You'll get access to me for coaching at no charge. A lot of other things that you can get as far as, having direction of the channel and movements, things that we're doing there. So if you are still watching at this point, again, I would like to keep doing this. Comment down below archery vision. I think that's really cool to see how many people are or are not watching all the way to the end of the video, but that definitely helps me. And make sure, give me a thumbs up on this video. Helps the algorithm, helps us being able to keep this in front of people. Send this to somebody that you think may help them, or just share it to maybe your social media page or a page on Facebook or something and spread the word. It helps out a lot. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you soon.